Hello, everybody. I just wanted to speak on camera real quick. Hold on one second. Look, AI making a whole bunch of like rap songs and different songs into like 50s and 60s and 80s songs, and I thought that was pretty awesome. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. So, I just wanted to say something on camera real quick. I'm noticing a lot of immigrants and even Caucasians and different people getting on camera talking about rights and talking about the hypocrisies in the system and speaking on the current level of corruption. And this is the reason why I said I think African Americans should take a rest for a while, and why we need to take a step back and really just observe the entire situation. Because one thing I will tell y'all is that there's a misconception when dealing with the right, and when dealing, it's not even just the right. See, a lot of times what people do in this country or really anywhere is they have something called a dog whistle. And what a dog whistle is when you blow the whistle, only dogs and certain creatures can hear it because of the wavelength that it travels at. And so when people say certain words and use certain phrases, it becomes a dog whistle to where the whole public just thinks it's a normal conversation, but the dogs can hear what's happening and they formulate, if that makes sense. And I'm going to give you an example. Whenever I see articles about black people, I feel my automatic nervous system start to tense up and build up. But then my conscious awareness, which is also in turn turning into my automatic nervous system because it's going away, um, it takes control and it says, nope, I'm done. And the reason why I think that's profitable is speaking back to what I was saying with the misconception with racists and just all with all these words. These people aren't stupid. A lot of times you hear people saying, "Oh, stupid, racist, backwoods dude." Those people aren't dumb. They have all this land. They have these laws set up the way they are for a reason. A lot of people you would deem peaceful, once their life starts to get interrupted, you'll see the true nature of their peace. And so I just wanted to tell African Americans, or really anybody that's no, this is for African Americans. I'm tired of that shit. We need a culture. And I'm saying my people at the moment really need to sit back and rest. Whether it, and when I say that, I'm not talking about not working, you know what I mean? And at the same time, I'd be consciously aware of the type of work you're doing or who you're working for, which company. But at the same time, I know you got to eat, so I'm not a judgmental man. But I can be. So the point is, and the reason I'm saying this is because no matter how many laws we pass, no matter how many, you see what they did with Charlie Kirk, right? They took Charlie Kirk and they tried to say he was a great man. But then whenever anybody played anything he said, people got upset and they were trying to cancel people over him. That is, he is a soft core version of what a lot of people want. People deep down inside have some malicious, sick, hurtful feelings. And that's why I'm telling my people, your best bet, if you can find people that would like to assimilate with you, if you can find people that are cool, don't rebuke those people. Those are your friends, your allies. I mean, if you got senses, you got instincts, I'm not telling you what to do. I am simply saying, as far as the big, you saw his no kings and all this other stuff. What did he do? He labeled them as terrorists and they was joking about bombing people. I don't. Enough is enough. Stop fighting these people and let them destroy themselves. This dude has destroyed farmers. He's destroyed cattle ranchers now. He's destroyed all the fucking trade infrastructure. I mean, and the guy's making billions of dollars. He's rearranging the White House. Leave this man alone. Whoever's going to fight against him, okay, it's cute. But until things actually change, my African American people, I'm telling y'all, you see all the immigrants out here talking about, oh, it's corrupted. Everybody make me sick sometimes because I grew up in this country and I know how Africans, I know how Asians, I know how different people can act in their cultures. But also, some of my best friends are Africans, Asians, Jews, and other people. What I'm saying is, I know that higher level of awareness. I know that a lot of something exists, but I also know that a lot of something else exists. And so I align myself righteously unless I hate everything like Anakin. And so, I mean, y'all could jump around the streets and act a nut and still be fighting these people if you want. But it's a game. It's a big game. People go around saying these racists are so dumb, that's why they care. No, they're not. They know exactly what they're doing. I sat here and watched the things they said about Obama for trying to help y'all, the ACA, giving y'all health care, the phones, giving y'all technology and giving y'all a way to communicate, and with minutes on them. I can't make this shit up. I seen what he did in terms of healthier, and him and his wife with the healthier meals and all that. There's a bunch of stuff this man did, man. It's like a joke to me now. It's one big joke. I can't take none of this shit seriously. When somebody comes up to me telling me left, right, purple, up, Christians, Jews, Muslims, Arabs, and I'm about to tell y'all a fact. Y'all can deny this if y'all want. I'm not being funny. Y'all use those books to justify a lot of stuff. Moses hated the Arabs. So did whoever Jacob was, and so did whoever Jacob's mother was. I'm just being honest because I'm going to tell you why. They keep saying yellow people, Arabs, blah, 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 Egypt. No, that is a fucking desert. It wasn't always a desert, though. They were invaded by a group of people. This is written archaeology, scientific, and then they wrote a Bible about it. That Bible is from Rome. So, these people called the Hyksos in my language invaded Africa and were successful 4 times. After that, a man named Ahmose, not Amos, A-M-O-S, A-H-M-O-S, who they call Moses, came 400 years after West Brahma, the Indus Valley. The Indus Valley and all them Syria that is written history was invading a bunch of shit, the Aryans. Them people all mixed and shit. When they did, there was a subset of people in Canaan that had came back and attacked Africa. Africa then, 400 years later, came back and took the land back. Amos, it's a written history. This is their historians. Then a man named Akhenaten, right after him, African people raided, conquered, and colonized Canaan. And when I say colonized, I'm not talking about, it isn't written history. These people were burning children through fire Lamech, Sodom and Babylon, sexually. So what I'm telling y'all is, all of y'all that keep saying Africa, these artifacts and they can't be African and Africans weren't sailing, it's all racism. I believe the Africans and the Kemet were sailing, and the people of West Africa were going to the Americas long ago. That's where all them statues and why them people, I saw them dark yellow people. They talking about, look, they're light skinned. Oh my God. If them people was in America and they had a certain hair type, they'd be called African Americans. Kamala was called an African American. Enough of the name. Y'all need to wake up. Them people had huge lips and big noses and had scripts and language that was identical to people in Africa. That's not a coincidence. That's not magic. That's not a coincidence. It's even written in their history that the Egyptians were known for their fleets and their sailing. Why were the people surrounded by water with all this technology who had sundials and huge temples and huge pyramids not know how to sail? The lady even herself talking about her culture was saying they didn't have wheels to. They said that these six ton heads in these statues were pushed all these miles without wheels. You can't. They had pyramids, and you can't build a pyramid without they call it an Egyptian pulley, and that's a wheel. A pulley is attached to a wheel, man. Oh my head. It's like okay, I'm gonna give you a scenario. You have a road with a visible metallic bridge that cannot be broken, and it's a small distance, and it's choo choo, you're on the side. Boom, you're right there. But these motherfuckers are building rigid walkways and stairs across cliffs and, a, and across gaps of dangerous leaps and lies to correlate and fathom because it works. People will be like, why are they trying to program people? It's not true. Then go talk to anybody about history and they are mind fucked. They'll sit here and talk about Moses in the Bible and the people of Canaan. Because if you look at Ham's portion, technically Canaan is what that is. All of Ham is not Canaan. And that land is continually attacked, continually bombed, continually warred. Even in the Middle Ages, they did it. I don't know where they get these lies and these. It's just like the biggest headache, man. Then, because like this was the final piece to the puzzle. Because a couple of pieces. They went into a volcano in Rome and did the genetics of like some skeletons in there, and they were Africans, like African genetics. They couldn't deny it. It was because of that Gladiator movie, and they was complaining about Denzel Washington being in the movie. Oh, my head hurts, dude. Them people were not Caucasus Angloid. Yeah, my head hurts. So then, this was the second piece. Because I told y'all them people all would have been dark until they were introduced to the I'm not when I say Neanderthal, this isn't an insult. It's the genetic vicinity to Angloid DNA. And what happened is different humans genetically became different. And so these people started coming around from what I know, 1,000, not even 1,000 BC, because they was being enslaved by Rome and stuff. Rome had them written about in Greek. So you're looking at maybe like 300 BC. And still, even before that, they weren't mixing with the Canaanites. They weren't in Jerusalem. They were slaves to the Romans up in Rome. So they would have been mixing. But then you have an institution where a man named Jehohanan, this was the final piece. Them people, like, I think 600, 700, or 1,000 years later, started looking for the man who was crucified. That's how I know that was what the dude's name was. And they started calling him Prester John in English because his name would have translated to John, Juan, Giovanni, Ivan, all these different names that it conjugated to. Well, then what ends up happening was they was looking for this everywhere. They went to Africa and found all these artifacts and found all these kings and people and stories with the name Yehohanan and Yochanan. Watch this. If Akhenaten raided Kemet, if Akhenaten went back and raided Canaan, and even according to biblical lore, they went there and settled there and took over, that means Africans would have been there from the time of when Babylon took over, Persia, Greece, and then Rome. If Greece and Rome was the ones that was attacking, and Babylon got exiled, and Persia got exiled, but it was still those Canaanite people there, then that means it would have been Africans. Or if they would have mixed with because it says that when they attacked, they sent the people to Babylon and stuff in Persia, which means it would have been a mix of Africans. And because of racism, they might not have been mixed. The prophets say over and over, but the prophets said they was mixing. But who was these prophets? So I'm going to tell you also the gymnastics they play. These Polish people, my great-grandfather's Polish. He came here from Germany during World War II. And he met African-American people. And these people went to Africa, read a steel after all these Arabic people, because even after the whole Canaanite, Hyksos, African deal, then you got the Middle Ages and the Crusades. You have Greece, you have Rome, you have the English church, the Catholic church, all these different peoples taking and raiding stuff. Then you have the Caliphate finally come back, and they take it over, which is Arabic, which would have been ancestors to the descendants to the Hyksos. This isn't racism. They they sit here and created racism so that when you use logic based on ethnicity and race like they created, they call you the racist. It's like a mind fuck from hell. So then that man would have been African. He has African names, African, and I looked up Aramaic and I think it's called Amharic or something like that. The the Ethiopian version. All the languages came from that region. It did, and then it branched out and became something new. So, and then they want to say because the oldest wheel they found was in Mesopotamia, but they'll say there was pyramids from 15,000 BC. Who built those pyramids and how? Like that don't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. So Africa was thriving. That's the forefathers of civilization. And the ham they talking about is cursed is the ones that's being attacked over there in Canaan. So, and I'm not calling it Canaan because I'm a biblical. That's the name Israel. I don't know what to call these places. Palestine, Judea. Like holy fuck, y'all change names and then y'all take words. Y'all ancestors have words that meant things and whatever they felt because none of us were there or know. And then we transform words constantly every generation. Because y'all say Jesus, but it would have been Yeho, just like Yehovah. Yahweh and Yehovah is the same words backwards with the instead of Yehovah, it's Yahweh. The E and the A switched and the add a H and an O and all sorts of stuff. But they got that name from Yehohanan. I believe that's how it would be pronounced. And they just a bunch of lying. Cause and the Ben Hakios, that you have to look up so much stuff and so the K and I, it is interchangeable in Greek. And I don't know if it's in Latin. So it would have been Hagio. And then the S, it says a K there. They have a long S and it looked just like the K. They be playing games. They know it's Ben Hagios, which is son of the anointed one. And so they was mocking him. And so how does the name become Jesus in this language? Because the V and B changed. So Yahweh is JB in English. A lot of people don't know that. I'm not saying that for I'm not calling myself Flesh Rod anymore. It is what it is. People can do what they want. So then if you look at that name, it would have been Yanez in Greek. And then it would have been Latin. I don't even know what's going on because for some reason it went to Yeshu and then Yeshua. But the Shua came from from an ancient language. That's where they're getting all these words from these African steels in ancient Africa. So when they do archaeology, think about this. Why do they go to Africa and all these different places in South America and dig all this stuff up and then go, oh, we have learned all this information about ancient history. Where's y'all's ancient history besides war, death, and murder? Okay. So then the reason why I seen this French museum procurator say the artifacts are spoils of war and they're going to stay there and blah, blah, blah. And they could go to the countries for art exhibitions, but then they got to come back. And I thought to myself, like, a couple things. One, they're doing that because once we're all dead and gone, and in future generations, or if anything's discovered, they're going to be like, oh, look, the Europeans, they were the ones. This location. They had the blah, 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 blah. It's all like a deep game because you guys say, no, that's not true. But they did it in the 15 and 1400s and even way before that in Catholicism. And it worked. Look what Catholics everywhere, Christians everywhere, racists everywhere, crazies everywhere. I wouldn't say they're not intelligent because they know what the fuck they're doing and they have numbers. But what I'm saying is continually through history, they mock themselves. Oh, Rome, dude, Rome. Oh, Nebuchadnezzar, Babylon. But then they speak on Africa. Great museums, artifacts, great. Are y'all not seeing? Okay, that's why they're trying so hard. And it's going to continually, when they're gone, turn into buffoonery. So, my African American people, if you guys would like to stay in this tornado, I mean, But in my honest opinion, just let it go. Be you. There's this set of videos. It's called the Chantra Sheba, Chantresssheba. She's in a lot of my poems. If you go to my poetry tab, if you go to my playlist tabs and go down far enough, you'll find a whole host of poems, and they autoplay. And I got a lot of their music on there. It's very calming and very relaxing. But I like the image. It's an Africa. It's a woman of color. It's a brown woman with a peach male, not peach. Some I don't know, cause I don't even know, man. Like a peaches lighter color male, and it's just harmony. It's just the earth. This flows. We're all people. It's the spectrum of people right there on the screen, and all our spectrum of abilities. Do you do you go up to do you take color wheels and put them on your dartboard and put certain colors in the bullseye spot? Do you, America feels like uh, an angry art teacher, and whenever somebody uses a certain color, she goes and like grabs the ruler and psh, their hands like no, no. And another thing, y'all wonder why certain people in religious cultures act the way they do and are so frustrated. I told y'all because y'all turn sex evil, and that's one of our instincts. And I'm not saying start younger. I'm saying y'all need to chill the fuck out. And y'all have created monogamous traps. And I don't even think, look at apes and lions and different. I'm not saying that marriage isn't beautiful. But what I'm saying is I'm seeing a lot of divorce, marriage counseling, and people being told stay together and figure it out. It's our culture, religion, blah, 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 blah. If you're married, you're happy, cool. If that's what you're into, cool. But what I'm saying is they're leading people down a path, telling them, oh, this is how to live, diamonds forever, have a whole bunch of kids, and blah, blah, blah. Then we're going to take all the food stamps. Look, we're going to destroy Planned Parenthood, but destroy all the food stamps and destroy all the programs helping kids. They took out October candy for these pantries are going wild right now. I couldn't believe how many middle class Americans that hate the poor need assistance for something. But even the rich, right? Farmers was, farmers, we're so poor and we have to do all of our work. movie. Small town, we do all the work. Y'all are so fake. Look, look. 1, 2, I am coming for you. My people, stay out the way. Oh, one more point I wanted to make before I leave about I had a buddy telling me about how AI is like, you know how people turn into Sarah Connor sometimes. It's just a joke. I hope he doesn't see this and get upset. But anybody saying that AI is destroying music, almost every song you listen to, almost every song you have heard has been sampled from people in the 40s, 50s, and 60s who was probably being exploited, especially people of brown descent, but also a lot of Caucasians as an example too. See, the problem is a lot of times people think that they're not slaves because they're higher in the spectrum. And I keep telling you all that there's no such thing as higher in the spectrum, nor is there any such thing as somebody being slave to somebody else. And all people will be free eventually. But back to the point at hand. Um, these sampled songs all the time. Lil Wayne, Drake, uh, uh, Outkast, Fat Joe, Tupac, Biggie Smalls, which Eminem, Dr. Dre, who hasn't done it? And then the people in the past who was getting exploited didn't get paid nothing. And then even further exploitation, they exploit y'all. Oh, blacky, dance in the club. Don't donate nothing to y'all. Don't really do nothing for y'all. End up being broke themselves after buying hundreds of thousands of dollars of chain, lying about their image and getting some check from a record company. And sending y'all off, having y'all all trying to be hippity hoppity, throwing dice and acting a nut. But AI's ruining music. AI's ruining information. AI is the literal slave form of y'all's information or anything. And anything y'all fear about it is a representation of y'all's own projections and self-fear. Yes, of course, we all have fears and whatnot. But the amount of damage, dirt, and dumb shit that humans do, and then get terrified soon as something else has a little bit of the spotlight. Unreal.